So, Sonny, I appreciate you letting me come out here, sit down and talk with you. As we spoke, I'm on a quest, a pilgrimage, if you will, to figure out if there's another model or system of development that can get created. And I definitely wanted to lean on your knowledge, your experience, obviously, as a basketball player, but as a coach in youth sports. I know what you did for me being my AAU coach years ago. I'm going to take a trip over to Europe. I'm just going to do a series of interviews, put all this information I get down on the table and try to create something new. So I definitely appreciate you allowing me to be out here with you and talk with you. So how do you feel about youth basketball today?
Yeah, like I stated earlier, basketball seems like it's not fun anymore. We got to get back to the basics. It's like, how can we do the algebra when we can't do the math and arithmetic?
Right.
So we got to get back to the fundamentals, the way it is. Then you add your creativity with the fundamentals. But it's too much highlights. It's too much showmanship. We was just playing the basic, simple game of basketball and still have fun and being creative. But now it's too much highlights.
Kind of went to step 5 without doing step 1, 2, 3, 4.
Exactly.
Okay.
I say impress me, hit a layup, hit a free throw. Do those things.
So is it too focused on winning?
Yes, I think winning is too much on winning. And I think it's because of the whole culture. Coaches, they developed the players. It was winning and losing, but they was there. But soon you start losing, everybody point the fingers. Who's the fall guy now? Is the coach or is the players? It's gotten away from winning and losing, just getting too personal with basketball.
Right. I guess in your opinion, if it was a perfect world, and this is this answer could be on so many different levels, but what needs to change?
Well, you got to start from the bottom, from the beginning. That's how we create that type of player and develop him. So as early as 4 years old, almost like the hockey players, when they learn how to skate at 2 and 3 years old. So sometimes we got to go without forcing the kids.
Sure.
We just want to expose the kids to the game of basketball and teach them the right way at an early age.
So how important is skill development?
It's very important. You notice the guys that play longer, they have the skills and they have, of course, the talent, but it's not as athleticism. The best rebounder is not the highest jumper.
Right.
Are you the best scorer? Are you the best shooter?
Right.
So, we just got to continue to keep working, just like a musician. He hit them keys over and over, repetition. So now when the lights come on, when they go on tour, on stage, they're not missing a beat.
Right. Here's a question I get a lot of times, and it's real crazy for me to sit here with you to know that, in some way back in the day, you were once me, and my dad was a client calling you, trying to figure things out. And a question I get a lot of time from clients is, how long does it take? Like, how long is this skill development? When does it happen? When's it supposed to? Now, I know a quote that you gave my dad, but I'm interested in what's your answer on it?
There's really no time frame when it's going to happen. It's going to happen when it's supposed to happen. It could be today or tomorrow or next week.
Sure.
You're going to see it happen right in front of you. So, wow, that was the breakthrough.
Right.
All the things that we've been working on and, all the practices and getting up and all the things that we've been doing, all of a sudden it just happened. So there's no time frame.
You just got to keep working until it does.
Yeah, till it does.
And I remember what because my dad always said this, you told him it's not going to happen a minute later or 60 seconds sooner. It's going to happen when it happens. And that's such a vague answer, but it's such a truthful one. But you can't put a definitive answer.
No, you can't.
Because everybody learns differently.
Right.
And when you try to translate those skills into the game, and there's going to be many breakthroughs along the way.
Yeah, because you got kids at an early age was better than everybody. All of a sudden, the other person caught up with them and passed them. So you can
it's a journey.
It's a journey.
Right.
It's a journey.
Right.
But there's really no time limit, no time frame, and we're not going to get penalized.
Right. So is that? What's some advice over the years? Goodness gracious, my father was a former client, if you will, that you had to mentor through the process and program. What's some advice that you've given to parents?
Well, I'm getting better as a parent. I was a fan. I was a fan till my son told me one time, and he was playing, and I was right there on court side. He looked at me and said, "Dad, you're not my coach." So what we have to do as parents, be a parent. But a lot of times the parents, they fans.
Right.
And, I don't like the fact that parents cut the videotape off when their son come out the game.
Right.
It's all about the team.
Right.
Together, everyone's achieved more.
Right.
So
Right.
regardless of my son playing or not, I'm still cheering for the team,
Right.
being a team player.
I'm on a tangent a little bit. How important is the weight room?
Well, it depends. Kids still growing, so you don't want to damage anything. The weights is your own body. That's what the weights is. You can go old school. You can run, do push-ups, sit-ups, core things, jump rope, those type of things. But the weights come later on. I
Right.
think. You don't want to really damage anything because the kids have a lot of growth plates.
Let me phrase it this way. What about just in doing the push-ups and the sit-ups, the core ups? So many times that I see it with high school basketball, there's a kid who can play, but they get pushed off that line. It's not
Yes.
strong.
Exactly. Yeah, you're right. Kevin Durant, look how he is.
Right.
Now, he wiry strong.
Yes.
Yeah, he
Right.
wiry strong.
Right. So it's not about putting 225 on, but
it's not.
you got to have some strength
You got some
to play
strength.
this sport, because otherwise it don't matter how much skill you have.
Yes.
And the way I say it is, if your kid is a car, I'm going to put the tents on the window, I'm going to put the rims on, I'm going to make it look real good. But if ain't no gas in the tank,
Right.
not going nowhere.
Yeah, you dress it up, but you got to put fuel in the tank, and you got to do a lot of things to that body. You got one of the things Grant Hill said to Jabari, you have to eat right, you got to get your rest, you just got to exercise, you got to take care of your body.
Right.
'Cause your
Right.
body.
So, as we had talked before, there's a lot of people, obviously we know Jabari and his success, which is great. A lot of people don't know about your two other sons who were also equally as good in basketball. You know what I mean? So it wasn't just a one thing you did with one of your children. This is something that you have done with all your kids. So as a father, what did you do in terms of basketball? How often were they in the gym? What was that? Because you had your oldest son was a professional as well. So
Yes.
What
Just the exposure, I do a lot of basketball camps and clinics, mentorship, volunteer work, coaching. So they just was gym rats. It was just in the gym. I really didn't never force them. They just got the ball and started doing the same drills as the older guys doing, and they kind of liked it. But I guess because of my background, I played, NBA, college, and high school, grammar school, so they just took a liking to liking basketball, than other sports.
So the first thing is you gotta love the game.
Yes, you got to love the game.
And I tell parents, look, there's nothing wrong with your kid wanting to play, 1,000 games in the wintertime. That's nothing wrong with that. Basketball is a great sport. It's a fun sport. You should do it. But the moment that you decide that you want to make that high school team or you want to make that middle school team, now you've decided to take a different path besides just having in-game fun. Now you've decided that you're going to start working. And just that commitment level to it is where, things start to fall off sometimes. Like, well, we don't see it right now, so, we're done. Like, you got to stay with it a little bit.
Yeah, you're right, Matt. One of the things I instilled in my kids, all of them, if you're going to do this, let's do this. If you don't want, just quit right now.
Right.
This ain't nothing to play with,
Right.
because my thing is getting a scholarship to go to college, your tuition be paid for. Because I remember talking to my dad, said, "Dad, man, I got this free scholarship for son. That wasn't free. All the hours, all the time you put in, paid off, and you got compensated for it." So what I just tell my sons, if you want to play this game of basketball, you truly love it, put the work in.
Sure.
But if you just don't want to play and it's a hobby, just recreation, whatever, you don't show enough interest in it, just quit right now.
Right. Yeah. Go do something different.
Yes.
Right. Here's the question of question, because it's the main reason why anybody would come to M14. It's the main reason why you're doing skill development. I tell parents all the time, you're not coming to us to just do left-hand pound dribble. I'm not interested in teaching that after I've taught it to your child. The reason you're here is to see the skills in the game. So when it comes to transferring, and that's the biggest hurdle, right? Rubber got to meet the road. What are some tips? What are some things? How do you get a player, your child or any player that you've coached? How did you get us to transfer the skills that we work on into the game?
Well, everything we did was gain speed. We had to go. I remember you going at Will Bynum. Will Bynum was going at you. Y'all was going at each other. It was like war. But y'all made each other better. And practice makes you better. And you have to do everything simulated like in a game. So when the game is just automatic.
Right.
So, a lot of these drills, I said, well, if you just going through the motions, that ain't how the game is going to be. So
Right.
what we try to do is you're going to mess up, but eventually you're going to get it, and you're going to get your timing. And that's all we did. We made sure the intensity level was at a high level.
So there was two main things there that's, I'm getting excited because some of this stuff we're implementing in the program right now, right? The game simulated
Yes.
kind of drilling. So not just doing 2 dribble pull-ups with
Yes.
nobody on you,
Right.
but now let's put somebody on you and make it more game simulated. And that's something that we're going to implement now in our training program where we're calling it the mirror. Whether we got 90 minutes, the first 45, we'll just teach the skill, whatever skills that may be. The last 45, we're going to set it up in game simulated situations. The next thing you said that I think was huge that if I have a gripe about youth basketball is that these kids don't have a platform to make mistakes. And you hit on that saying that you're going to make mistakes, that's going to happen. With things being focused on winning, you now have taken that child's platform to make a mistake off the board now. They can't make a mistake anymore. It's about winning.
No,
so now
it's
you got
about
to sit them
winning.
down.
Right.
Now you got a 6th grader who you sat down and their confidence ain't even developed yet.
Yeah.
It's done. And now you've turned the kid off of the sport.
Yeah.
Now it's not fun anymore. So those are things, that's absolutely.
Yeah, you're right on that because when kids shut down, you got to be them, lift them back up because they're shut down because 90% of the game is all mental. The kid just shut down mentally and he's gone and you need him and he needs his confidence.
That's the onus on the coach though.
Yes.
Okay, what about film and watching film? And I know I'm a little bit all over the place with the question. What about watching film? Because that's something and a strategy that I've seen with some of these, great Chicago players, great players in general. They didn't start watching film varsity. They started watching film 4th grade, 3rd grade. Dad taped the game, but they'd sit down and just kind of watch it, and it was constructive.
Yes.
Agree or no, or is that something you think
Yeah,
is it too early, or what? What do you?
No, it's not too early because I remember Jabari in 3rd or 4th grade, he had a playbook and he would watch film with his older brother. And they would just go through, even playing video games, they would look at situations and how the game was played and just scout and report on certain players and techniques. But at an early age, if you can get kids to be a student of the game at an early age, it'll eventually, when they get older, they really understand the game even more, breaking down.
How often, or have you seen and I don't want to shape these questions as if I'm looking for an answer here, but with players in the gym, and I've seen a lot of stuff on ESPN or documentaries talking about the parks are empty. How often do these kids get in the gym without a coach when it's just them?
Yeah, studio time is hard to get. Man, you just can't get in the gym because it's just where you're going to go and they don't open up the gym door. It's expensive to open up these doors, for these kids to be in there because the lights, the heat, the air conditioning,
right.
It's an expense.
Right.
We used to have places where we can go and we have facilities that we can have the gym time, but now it's hard to get gym time by yourself.
Sure.
You're in there with a group.
Right. So they need to be playing though, and sometimes I think it's everybody's enamored with playing up too much, and it's too overwhelming because I think you taught your kid to blend in instead of be a star, and I think learning to dominate, and I'm talking about overall. I'm not talking about the 2% that was just going to be good, even though I don't believe in that. I think they worked their way to being good. But what about everybody else? And I consider myself as in the what about everybody else category. I don't think I was, predestined to be great at basketball. I had to work, right? It wasn't height, athletics, none of that. Had to work. And so it just seems like they're not in the gym enough to really work on their game. Like it just doesn't, if they are, it's too structured.
Yeah.
Right? And you're not teaching your kid, okay, he's playing up, so now it's overwhelming. You taught him to be a role player, just catch the ball, pass the ball. Right? So being a star is gone out of style or something. Or they're in the gym and it's just too damn structured. Everything, it's practice at this time, we do this drill, we do it like this, we do it. There's no learning. The true sense of learning, doesn't really seems to be leaving.
Yeah, these kids are programmed. I wanted my son to be the chess on the queen board. I want him to be able to move anywhere. He can jump center, now he's the point guard. Because I just want him to be a basketball player. I don't want to be no point guard, no stretch forward, no power forward, or small forward. Like Bobby Knight said, hey, you're a basketball player. So, you should be able to play anywhere on the court. And But like you said, sometimes they get too robotic. Even when I was coaching you, Matt, I say, you guys, I know the play designed to do this, do that, but you just got to play basketball.
Right,
Because
right.
what happens when you get predictable, the other team know what you're going to do. You're easy to guard and defend.
Sure.
But when you throw them off, oh, wow, I was supposed to be here and there, now you change up. But, I just want the kids to just not be robotic.
Is there a way you can teach that? Is there a way you can, or sometimes I tell parents, I don't mind your kid being a robot. I'm going to just teach them to be the right robot.
Yes.
Because at some point, I guess it's just with the shift, right? And so it's not, their generation isn't go to the park and play and learn from the older guy or be playing against these kids and they're sitting on your strong hand, so you have to start learning to use your weak hand. And so some of this stuff is different. And earlier, I'd say in my career as a trainer, if I can call it that, I would fight that.
Yeah.
And all you guys are soft and all you guys
Yeah.
They are who they are. You know what I mean? And you could look at my generation and say, we softer than yours. And the generation before, you're going to look. And so we always do that as a society outside of basketball. So we try not to do that anymore. Like, hey, this is who you guys are. You got instant information, instant gratification. Every time you do it, it's always the birthday party. You got instant information all the time. Everything's in. And so sports is kind of throwback, where it's not going to be instant. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some hard work. So teaching that first, before we even step on the court, I think is huge with these kids, because they get into it like, oh, well, I dribbled for 30 minutes. I'm supposed to be LeBron.
Yes. Certain things is called it. Certain players got what's called it.
Right.
You can't take that away.
Right.
LeBron,
Sure.
Kobe,
Sure.
Jordan,
Sure.
a lot of great players. And on that softness, Tim Duncan, he played different from Kevin Garnett.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And he still gets
Yeah,
results.
absolutely gets it done. Right.
I mean, some people are more animated, more intense and short. Some just real calm, cool, and collective, and they still get the same result.
Right.
So what I always tell, be who you are. And I told you the same thing, Matt. Be who you are. You got a gift. You got a talent. And all of us have that. So be the person that you are. Because you trying to emulate and be somebody else, we don't know who you are.
Right.
And you may have just as much talent as they do, but you trying to be somebody you're not.
Sure. So I'm going to ask you these questions real quick. So tell me this, in terms of percentage, if we're talking about skill versus gameplay, all right, meaning that, okay, I'm going to ask you at different grade levels, what do you think that percentage should be out of 100%? By varsity, we should be 50-50 or 40-60 in this way or that way, right? So at the 4th or 5th grade level, 100%, what's the amount of time a player should do skill versus in the game type stuff?
Probably about 60 or 70% more skill than playing. Yeah, at this stage.
Okay.
Because they still developing, they still learning. I think the more they work on their game, the more they. Because see, the games don't last that long. They more or less play running clock.
And the games are a horrible practice.
Yeah.
You don't get the ball.
No, you don't, because everybody's selfish.
Right.
Everybody's
right.
selfish.
Or you touch the ball 3 times, but that might not have been the time that you were ready to do something. Before something becomes a habit, you got to think.
Yeah. So they're not really ready yet as a whole.
Sure. So, okay, 6th grade.
Yeah, 6th grade, it can start getting about 50 to 60%. You can balance it out now.
7th and 8th grade, same thing?
Yeah, 7th, 8th grade, same thing. But, basketball is all year round, so different times of the season, you do your training, your conditioning, then your practices, then your game. Now, during the season, you want to save your legs and everything because some games coming.
Sure.
You don't want to.
Well, so there's a big thing that is huge that you just said. Like, we used to have an off season.
Yes.
When is the basketball off season?
Oh no, there's no such thing as off season, because all I want you to do, if I'm competing with you, you take some time off. I done caught you.
Right.
Not saying that you have to be out there every day, 24/7, but you still got to be somewhere working on your game or developing some parts of your game.
And again, this is if you've made that decision.
Yes.
This isn't everybody.
No, it's not
I'm
everybody.
careful to say, and sometimes that decision might not happen till 8th grade or it might not happen till 9th grade. Now, there is a too late, but if you ain't made that decision in 4th and 5th grade, you're not behind.
No, you're not.
You still got some chance to catch up.
Some of the things I say, you playing all these games, you better be working on your game.
Right, right. Well, the thing that I think people don't give enough credit to is reality, and the word is puberty. So
Yes.
you could be great in 4th and 5th grade,
Oh,
but
yeah.
everybody ain't tall yet, ain't grown
yeah.
yet, ain't done this yet. Once puberty hits, it's gonna change everything.
Oh, it changed. I had some kids in 4th and 5th grade. They was very quick. They was very fast, very athletic, and other kids wasn't. But later on, those kids caught up with them and
Right.
passed them.
Right. So the only thing that you can do is just keep working.
Yes.
Because you don't know what nobody knows what puberty's gonna do to you
No,
either
you
way
don't.
or not.
You don't.
We just got to keep on. That's got to be the main
'Cause
character.
some kids at an early age, body develop faster than other kids.
Right,
So that's
right.
what you see.
So what about 3-on-3? That's something that we play a lot at our academy. That's something that I've seen European studies actually broke down. What's better kind of for
Yes.
youth? How do you feel about 3-on-3?
I play a lot of 3-on-3, a lot of half court. Because even when you play full court, when you cross half court, it's still half court.
Right.
So you want to really play half court.
Sure.
You want to break it down with the help, defense, help line, deny, talking on defense, hedging. So you learn a whole lot. We got to get back to that. Back in the day, that's all we played.
3-on-3.
Right. But see, when it's full court, it's like the defense is obsolete.
Right.
It's like you score, I score.
Right. Right.
But 3-on-3,
You get exposed.
you get exposed.
Yeah.
And it's keeps.
Right.
So only way
Right.
you get the ball back.
Right. Is if we get a stop.
You
Right.
get a stop.
Sure. So 3-on-3 is something that's.
Oh, yes.
Because I remember we used to play a lot of 1-on-1.
Yes.
I remember that,
Oh, yeah.
but then I also remember then it went right on to 3-on-3.
It did.
Because there has to be, getting touch into the game simulated stuff.
Yes.
1-on-1 isn't the complete picture
No, it's
either,
not.
because there's nobody helping off.
No. You get
3-on-3
beat,
starts
you get
to make it a little bit more realistic, but you get the
Yes.
ball more.
beat. Yeah. And it's really about the team now.
Right. And you can tell, and we can tell if somebody's hiding.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, you just passing the ball, you just passing it back. No, man, you got to do something with the ball when you get it. And in a game, there's so much stuff that gets covered up.
Oh, yes.
Oh, my kid scored 20 points, but he did it all right-handed. He ain't drive left one time.
Oh, yeah.
That's not there's an expiration date on that success. You know what I mean? And those are some of the things that we see, and kind of leads me to the next one. We define mentality as aggression plus confidence, right? And we always say that there's 3 major categories that'll tell us how good your player will be. One is genetics. We don't really control that. You can work on that in terms of strength and power, but I can't control how tall your kid's going to be. Another one is skill, and we add IQ. The last category is mentality. So you can have a great skill set, but if your mentality is not there, you're not aggressive, you don't have confidence, it's never going to show.
So is it will or is it skills?
Right. Right.
Is it
Right.
will or is it skills?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
now it becomes really will now.
Yeah.
Over skills.
Right.
That's how bad you really want it.
Yeah, because that's playing hard, right?
Right.
I mean, that's what so many of these terms we have in basketball that we don't
Exactly.
identify.
Right.
Like, oh, he's soft. Oh, he don't have it. All this. What is it? Well, we're talking about your mentality.
Yes.
You don't have no confidence in your left or in your right
Yeah.
or in that shot or in that move, or you're just not aggressive.
That's all it is. I got guys that can handle the ball. Get in the game, it's different.
That
Yeah, I
mentality,
can-
right?
Yeah, right. It's that confidence, man.
So how do we
Mentality.
train mentality? How do you do? What are some things that you can say with that?
Well, keep the confidence there. Keep instilling those things. Keep communicating with those. And just not to penalize the guys when they do this and do that, but making sure they do it in the right way. It's like you shooting the ball 500 times and they always incorrect.
Right.
I made 100 of them correct.
Right.
So, just over and over, but you got to have the right people to monitor to what's going on and to troubleshoot it.
Sure. So it's really just a healthy balance throughout this whole equation. And I mean, and the thing I think, that we tell parents, and I, what I'm saying is, I'm also looking for on camera, correct me if I'm wrong. We say that they micromanage at the wrong time. Like, you start trying to micromanage in high school, you don't have no control in high school.
No.
You should have micromanaged your child's development in 4th and 5th and 6th grade, because that's when they're figuring out who they are.
Yeah.
And when they were figuring out who they are, you were just out playing some games, having fun because your kid was winning, got a trophy. Now varsity come, you want them to hit the last second shot. They don't have the mentality to. And so they don't have that. They don't have that pit bull. They don't have that aggression. They don't have that confidence because when they were figuring out who they were as a basketball player, it was just about winning and just having some fun. So if they drove right every time, hey, that was cool. And so that seems to be some of the issues that are plaguing the masses, right? I mean, again, you can always say, oh, this kid didn't or that kid didn't. But the mass, right? It seems like these are some issues that are plaguing it. Is that kind of stuff that you see? I mean,
Yeah, and you got to go to a program where they're going to push you. You can't go to a program where they're going to cater to you. I've been very fortunate for my sons to play for some good coaches.
right.
Not to say that.
But you found them, though.
I found them.
You didn't just fall asleep at the wheel like, oh, he liked to play basketball. Let's just put him over
It
here.
was like drill sergeant. They pushed them. But what happened, my kids never quit. They never gave up.
Right.
But it made them a better player and a better person.
Sure.
To play with that kind of level and that intensity, get them ready for the next level.
Right.
So that's how it's going to be.
Right. So they need a platform, and I'm trying to wrap it all here. So they need a platform to make some mistakes.
Yes.
We need to do the skill, but do some transferable drills with the skills. 3-on-3 is a great way to start transferring what you learned into game situation. We need to make sure that the proper person is teaching the kid. But before any of that, the kids got to have some fun.
Yes. So we can do 2 hours of drilling and intense. The last minute, we have fun.
Right.
So they left on that.
Right.
So you know how kids tired, they can't go anymore.
Sure.
They still have something left in the tank. Don't even realize it.
Right.
But they left having fun.
And that's what's most important.
That's what's most important.
Well, I have something here for you, Mr. Parker. So I brought out some gifts from M14.
Okay.
We got some stuff in the bag there for you.
Thank you, sir.
Listen,
Much success.
the impact that you've had on my life
Yes, sir.
has been tremendous. You know, I mean, even the fact of playing for you in high school, but then helping me, you know, when I took that visit out on the West Coast,
Yes.
I tell everybody all the time I don't need a dad. I had a dad. He was there. He's still here. But Sonny was a hell of a mentor for me.
Yes, sir.
And he really helped me out on and off the court. And the impact that you have is, I hope you realize the impact you've had on basketball, because if you've impacted me and I'm impacting basketball, it's your impact. So I really appreciate everything that you've done for me, for everybody else. Thank you.
But thank you. Each one teach one.
Right. I appreciate it, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Cool. All righty.